Guys, today's interview is a wee bit different. Usually, my guests analyze 3 movie scenes to give you guys practical writing tips. Today, though, we're digging into something that every author struggles with. Pretty much every writer I know dreads marketing. We're here to tell stories, not sell them. But of course, if we can't sell our stories, we're not going to be telling them for very long. And yeah, you can pay an expert, but most of us are starving artists. So I was delighted while reading Zombie Loyalist by today's guest, Peter Shankman. His book delivered a new marketing concept that is both easy to follow and flexible. We're going to help the writing community evolve in our marketing and grow, and maybe have a few zombie-related puns along the way. This episode will give you a fresh perspective on marketing, even if the zombie imagery is less than fresh. So I think a good place to start is kind of the fact that you right now are practicing what you're preaching. Your whole book, your whole credo, if I kind of got it right, was about using customer service to transform your customers into your marketing. And here we are talking about your books. So you've obviously at least one success story.
Well, that's one of the things I do. I focus on customer experience. I also focus on neurodiversity in the workplace. The concept that ADHD is actually a gift, not a curse. But here's the thing. Customer experience anywhere in the country pretty much sucks. I'm still blown away that COVID basically gave every single company in the world a 6-month reset. It said, hey, you can do whatever you can rebuild from the ground up for the next 6 months and no one's going to judge you. Right. And you can make things amazing. You can do these awesome, and no one fucking did it. Right? It blows my mind. No one did it. So
right.
Customer experience is so bad that I don't need you to be awesome. I need you to suck slightly less than everyone else, and you'll win all the things.
And I think this is something, like, I can't speak for every industry. I have worked in customer service and moving into the writing realm, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but people in writing, I swear, they're so introverted that they're terrified of customer service. And I'm like, killing your readership.
It's funny because I'm the world's most introverted extrovert. Put me on stage in front of 50,000 people and I'll own the room. It's my happy place. I'm giving a speech up there. I'm loving that. So one-on-one, someone calls me, someone asks for help, me talking to you. This is awesome. But put me at a dinner party with 9 other people, and I'll be in the second bedroom playing with the cat, without fail. My mother, when I turned 50 2 years ago, my mother threw me she called my assistant and my best friend, said, I want to throw Peter a surprise party. And both my assistant and my best friend literally said the same thing without knowing it. That is the last thing he'd ever want. It's okay. So it won't be a party; it'll be a dinner. And they both said that's the same thing. And so she wound up throwing it anyway. And it was 3 hours of me sitting there going. So no, I totally get it.
What drew you to writing about marketing? Because I found at least 3 different books talking about customer service marketing. What kind of drew you to that?
So I started a company in 2007 called Help a Reporter Out. And Help a Reporter Out connected journalists with sources all around the world. And it was basically, for the first couple of years, it was me running it out of my apartment with my 2 cats. It was basically an email newsletter that I sent out. I relaunched it under a new name because I sold it. And then the company that sold it, like 14 years after I sold it, they shut it down. And so I just relaunched it about 6 months ago. Now it's called Source of Sources. So sourceofsources.com. It's a free newsletter. Every day you get 2 emails a day with queries from journalists all around the world who can, and if you can answer the queries, you get free press. It's the easiest thing to do. For authors and writers, it's like a no-brainer. You should totally be on the list. So what happens is occasionally people have questions, right? Every email that you get from sourceofsources.com comes from peter@shankman.com. When you have a question, you don't have to go to a customer service site. You don't have to go to a website. You don't have to find a form. You simply reply. And over time, people be like, oh, it's you? Like, you're the guy who runs it? You're answering my email? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And that's when I started to realize, holy shit, people do not expect any level of customer experience.
I'm going to be honest. When I originally emailed you for this interview, as politely as possible, I expected to get ignored. Not because I don't think you're a good person. I don't know you. But because, frankly, I have 56 subscribers. It's within reason that you would say, I have other things to do when you've got a following. And so I was like, I'll probably get ignored, but that doesn't hurt to ask. It's not going to hurt me to.
I respect the ask. I mean, look,
And I get an email back from you. I literally showed my phone to my husband. I'm like, am I hallucinating this right now? Is he actually replying to me?
But that's the whole thing. No one cares that I have no idea who you were. I have no idea how many followers you have. What I know is you're a human being asking for something that I can provide. Why the hell wouldn't I do it? Kindness is underrated. And kindness, translates itself into customer experience. I fly with United Airlines, and they send out a survey at the end of every flight to like their super loyal, how was your flight, 1 to 10, all the usual crap. The last line of the survey is always one open text box that says, on our next flight, tell us what we could do to improve your flight. And so back in like 2015, I started a test, and for like, it was like a year and a half, I filled out the last line with the exact same wording every time. On my next flight, please refer to me as Peter, Lord of the Skies. Mind you, I never expected them to do that. But what would have been nice is after 150 of the same responses, I would have loved a call from like someone in their marketing group or their quality assurance group. Mr. Shankman, hi. Listen, asshole, we're never going to do that.
Just acknowledgement. Yeah.
Stop it. Right. But nothing. And so if they're asking me for all this info from every survey, but after 150 of the same responses, they're not replying, that makes it just a little disingenuous. So the fact, just by not replying, United, they're not kicking me. I'm very still loyal to them, but they open that door just a little bit for me to escape.
Right, because they're making it a neutral experience versus a good experience.
Well, it's so simple to just respond to me and say, dude, we're never going to call you Lord of the Skies. Fast forward about, 5 years after I started doing this, I'm giving a conference at a travel conference. I'm giving a speech at a travel conference in Florida, and I tell this story. And I guess someone from United was in the audience because I go to catch my flight home the next morning. I think it was like Fort Lauderdale or something, and I'm boarding the plane, and they call, Global Services. I start walking down, first person aboard, and as I get about halfway down the jetway, they go, Mr. Shankman, can you please come back? And I'm like, when they call you back from halfway down the jetway, I'm like, I'm going to jail, right? So I'm walking back, with my hands up, like, don't shoot me. They're like, sir, sorry to call you back. Are you Peter, Lord of the Skies? And I'm like, we were like 45 minutes delayed because I Instagrammed the shit. Everyone in that plane got their Instagram with me. It was hysterical. But now I'm loyal for life. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
That's all they had to do.
Right. They just had to acknowledge you. Why zombies? What inspired that particular analogy?
Your job in customer experience is to treat your customers and your employees so well that they will do your PR for you, and that's all they'll want to do. They'll tell people how great you are. Zombies, when you become a zombie, you basically have one purpose in life, and that's to feed, to create more zombies. Right? If I walk up to you and I'm a zombie and you're not, I see your neck, and that's the only thing I'm going to focus on. My goal is to eat your neck. Right? Bite into that, get into your brain, and infect you so you become a zombie. Okay? That is the same thing. A zombie loyalist is someone whose only job is they're so in love with your business because of what you did for them, all they want to do is tell the world how great you are.
Again, case in point, you managing to make me want to say, hey, let's talk about your book on my podcast.
There you go.
And this is something you also talk in the book a lot. I don't want to give away all the goods because people do need to pick it up. Libraries have it. I mean it, people. But you talk about brains. Bring random amazement in normal situations. I think I got it.
Do you have any idea how excited I was when I realized I was able to put brains, like zombie brains, into an acronym? That made my week. I remember when I came up with that. Yeah,
dude, I totally get it. In my very first book, it's a vampire mystery, and I worked so hard but could not make it work. I was trying to make this protester group where their name was Vamp. I could not make that work. I spent 2 months trying, and there was just no way, and I was so mad.
That's
so yeah,
funny.
I was jealous. But you talk about that. And that concept of bringing random amazement, kind of like what you just said with United, right? Where they're like, hey, Lord of the Skies. I apologize. I don't remember the actual word you just used. But it's all about just taking those little moments and personalizing them. Did I get that right when I was reading that?
Yeah. The goal is to create these moments that people are going to remember, so that they don't tell their friends, right? Perfect example. Let's say I'm reading the Vampire's Cold Case, right? And
somebody looked me up. Anyway, continue.
Okay, well, I don't know who I'm talking to, but let's say I'm reading it, and I'm madly in love with it, right? And what am I going to do? I want to share that with people, right? When you have a great experience, right, whether it's positive or negative, when you have an experience, period, whether it's positive or negative, you want to share it and you want to tell people about it. And the reason we do that is because we want to be informers. We want to be that guy or that girl that people come to when they need advice, when they have questions. It has to come from someone you trust to begin with.
Right, it's a social
That's
currency.
Customer experience. Peter, you live near Times Square. I'm visiting New York. What's the best steakhouse? Right? I have a good experience, and I tell you, oh, you steakhouse, yeah, go to Keen's on 28th Street. Ask for Kelly. She's the maitre d'. Tell her Peter recommended you. I'm friends with her. She'll take care of you. You are hightailing your ass to Keen's Steakhouse.
Right.
That's how it works. That's the thing that kills me the most. It's not rocket science.
It's really just treating people. Again, we talked about earlier that kindness, that human element. So talk about social media a lot in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, keep in mind also, Zombies came out in 2015. Times change, so there's still very much a use for social, but there's also very much a use for one-on-one communication. And I think that when social blew up, it kind of took that away for a while, right? Where
especially with the pandemic.
Yeah, we didn't believe in it as much, and we thought, oh, it's only social, it must be fake. And then with the torrent of finding out all the news media lies to us and everything like that, so it really became sort of a people are stepping away. They're still on social, but they're stepping away from it a bit. It's not gonna lie, it's nice to see.
No, I definitely agree. I think they're starting to get more into long form content, is what I've noticed. Like,
yeah,
I do still do YouTube shorts here and there to try and let people know I exist. But beyond that, yeah, the views I get by and large are people watching interviews like this.
Well, also, you're an author. You're writing very specific themes, mythical settings, and magic, and world building, and things like that. So the stuff that you're writing attracts a certain type of audience, and that audience by default is going to be slightly more intelligent, if not a lot more intelligent, than your average Twitter user who needs 140 characters to understand their day, right? And so but think about that for a second, because that should lead your marketing, right? You're not sitting there going, okay, I'm going to give you a 2-second blurb or a TikTok type video. Your audience demands more. The one thing that social has done is it's back in the 70s, we had an attention span that was roughly 3 minutes. You could talk to someone and get a 3-minute attention span. And it's funny because in the 80s, guy named Ed Meese, he was the attorney general under Reagan's second term. He was, one of his big campaigns was the dumbing down of America, because he believed that America was getting stupid because MTV's videos were 3 minutes long. And we're 3-minute attention span. I'd give my right arm for a 3-minute attention span today. We have I talk to people now, it's roughly 2.4 seconds. So, it's for someone like you to have an audience that has a longer attention span to begin with, because they're a little more intelligent and they're readers. God bless. That's awesome.
A writer wants to expand your attention, and social media wants to kind of do the opposite, in my opinion.
So, how do I put this?
Bluntly, it's my
I am very thankful and grateful that I have an audience that listens to me whenever I put out those emails twice a day, those sources emails twice a day to like 30,000 people a piece, 50,000 people a piece. My audience online, several 100,000. I think the difference is I've never believed my own press. As far as that, if I'm texting, if I'm writing to someone, I'm writing to one person. I don't look at it like, put it this way, having an audience is a privilege. It's not a right.
Like
every single day, I have to earn that privilege to continue being able to talk to my audience. And you do that by creating content that your audience wants, that's going to benefit your audience, that can help them, might make them laugh, that might make them think, that might release them from their worries or their cares for just a few minutes. I'm also not thinking of a post that benefits me. I'm thinking of a post that benefits my audience. Because what's stopping them from shutting me off? Absolutely nothing. If they don't like me, they're gone.
Given your own work, I think I found like 5 or 6 books in the library.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you change anything about that market?
So my last book was fiction. My last book was a children's book called The Boy with the Faster Brain. And again, for me, it was really just sort of understanding the audience. This audience, I originally thought it was kids, but it's kids and parents who want to understand why their kid is psychotic, right? So, at the end of the day, it comes down to being different, and different is good. So it's going after an audience that is searching for something, right? What is your audience searching for? And how can you give them that? Figure out not what makes your audience happy, but what brings your audience that level of joy that they don't get anywhere else, right? What are they yearning for? What hole do they have that your writing is filling? You're building an audience from scratch. You're building it organically, and that's the best thing to do. It's no different than social media. What am I putting out there, and how is that going to benefit someone? If you're just posting to hear yourself talk, great, have a blast, but don't expect to get an audience.
Please let everyone know, where can they find you?
Yeah, so Source of Sources is the big one, sourceofsources.com. I also run a company called Mental Capital Consulting, where we help companies figure out how to attract, hire, and retain neurodiverse employees while making their companies neuro-inclusive. My life is at shankman.com. I bought the domain back in 1997 because I'm a geek. And I'm at Peter Shankman on all the socials, and my email is peter@shankman.com. I reply to every email.
Thanks to Peter for an amazing interview. Let's recap everything that we just went over so we can actually remember it. Between bad customer service and the explosion of social media, people are starving for connection. Kindness will drive great experiences and word of mouth. Your connection needs to be focused on the audience. You are not the main character, the audience is, and if you don't respect that relationship, you'll lose them. So don't make it about you. Social media has its uses, but it's not the high priority these platforms will try to claim or convince you of. Readers have higher attention spans than the average Twitter post, and your marketing or your interactions should focus on that. Finally, consider what you can offer your readers that won't just make them happy, but fulfill a need or bring them joy. Do these simple things, and remember, brains. Bring random amazement into normal situations. Zombies eat brains, make sure you supply them. Please check out Peter's work in the links below, and don't forget the first 4 chapters of Blood Herring are available completely free on my channel or as a PDF with this nifty QR code. Happy writing and happy marketing.